Okay, I think I'm live. Got Jordan here already, so let's just make sure everything's working all right first, and put music on, I think. Okay, let me just sort all these out. Okay, so first things first, everybody just let me know if you can see and hear me all right. I'm just going to put some music on and tell me if it's too loud or not. Hello Kerry, hello Yolandi, and Richard's here, hi. Just going to actually put that down a bit. Okie dokie. Right, I just saw a warning. What's that? Yeah, look at that. Okay, so how is everybody? Oh, I've lost all my windows. Hang on a second, I'll get them back. There we go, we've got Zoom and we've got YouTube. Okay, I'm back. Right, Yolandi said can see and hear you fine, and Richard said video and audio all good here. Alright, just let me know if the music's not too loud or whatever. For anybody who's not sure what's going on with the videos feed and everything else, anybody who is a supporter or higher can join me on the video if they want to. Otherwise you can stay in the chat. I'm going to be going between both of them. Okay, so yes, I think everything's working. How is everybody? How has everybody's month been? I know Jordan's good because I talk to Jordan all the time. Kerry, Leah, petitioned Agaras and dreamed I was a runaway that got caught. My intuition tells me that Agaras accepted my request. Yeah, I'd say so. It definitely sounds like it. If you had a dream of Agaras particularly, or something which actually related to the office that Agaras holds or the things he does, then it definitely sounds like it was accepted. So just keep an eye on everything else that goes on. Dragon of the West is here, hello. Okay, we can see you, good, okay, good stuff. Alright, I'm not sure if the music's distracting me actually. Yeah, thank you, it's a pleasure, it's a pleasure. Right, so as always, this is the Covenstead. If you haven't got your hot chocolate or anything, just grab it. And this is just your chat. Hang out, ask questions, get feedback on something, whatever it is. We're just going to chat away. Dragon, having bizarre dreams about a nightmare Jin and Loki and Odin. Ooh, well, that's a bit of a mixture. Yeah. Yeah, I've actually been religiously recording my dreams a lot more than I do, and I actually need to go back and just check what the hell they are, because you know, you wake up and you just not jot things down, and then you forget your dreams. So I've got all these records and I have no idea what is actually in there. Alright, Jordan's gone quiet, so if Jordan's got a question, Jordan, if you can hear me, if you've got a question or you want to say something, just unmute yourself, because you're the only one here at the moment, so don't need to worry about trying to control the masses. Alright. Anybody? I always like to ask everybody what books they're reading, so I might as well start. I'm actually reading a lot of William Gray at the moment, most specifically the Sangreal Fidelity series. Decided to actually focus on that because I think I need to get Jacobus on and interview him about Sangreal Fidelity and then about Practical Kabbalah. but it might be a while before things settle down and we can do that. Kerry, I envy those that can do path working and scrying, as I've got a mental health diagnosis and a history of hallucinations. Most of my messages come in dreams. Well, as long as you can, get the message somehow in dreams or whichever method, then that should do it. Hang on, just got to get the chat window to pop out over here. Jordan said, currently reading Jason Mankey's book. Oh, that's a brilliant book. Love that book, and glad you're reading it. I've missed one. Oh, Andrew. Hello, Andrew. Thanks for joining. I'm almost entirely dream-based. A lot of people. I actually struggle a lot with dreams. I always have, and yeah. So the dream work I'm doing this year, I'm specifically focusing on developing my dreams, astral projection, all of that stuff. So it's going well. It's just, yeah, I've always battled with dream work. I don't remember my dreams at all, usually. Now it's every night, so yeah, it's improvement. Richard, can you cover someone would be awesome? It would be, yeah. Dragon of the West, I was able to remember my dreams more clearly these past 2 days. Good stuff, nice. Gills 666, how are you doing? Thanks for joining. I see it in a Black Mirror. Oh snap. On July 5th, I made my first lucid dream. Oh, there you go. Nice. It's good to have lucid dreams and everything else. The Fat Muppet, thanks for joining. Do Rastafarian practice magic in their religion? I don't think so, no. I haven't really looked into it and gone into it very much, but from back in the day, what I remember is it's purely just it's spiritual based. It's about worship and things like that, and just yeah, seeing things in a different way. I don't think they do practice magic. Jordan said, lots of dreams since working with Sagim, although I have been slacking on the offerings. I'm going to switch to YouTube, my audio is lagging. Okay, alright, okay, I'll see you on the YouTube chat then. There you go, now it's just me. Carrie said, waiting on consorting with Consorting with Spirits for Jason Miller. Have you read this? Yes, I have. Excellent book. All of Jason Miller's books are brilliant. I love Jason's books. And Consorting with Spirits is one of the better ones that I've read in that particular arena. Gil said, thanks, it's a pleasure. Fat Muppet, not even alchemy. I don't, I think we can possibly look at them doing alchemy in some fashion, but I don't think it would be your kind of, your magic-based alchemy. We all do alchemy in some way or form, whatever it may look like, but, we're always transforming one thing into another thing, whether we are doing magic or not, really. So I suppose we could consider it to be magic from a spiritual perspective. I'm not sure. We'd have to have a look at Rastafarianism a little bit deeper, I think. Dragon, do you have to use only emotions when communing with spirits and otherworldly beings, or can you use human words in thoughts? Yeah, you can definitely use human words. In fact, speaking aloud is a very powerful thing. And even I actually find that whispering is actually quite potent, quite powerful, for me anyway. And when we are talking, when we're actually verbalizing something, usually we have emotion behind it. So you're going to have that in it as well, and it all comes into the package really. Jordan, as above, so below. Hello everyone, welcome back. Thanks for joining. Arena's here. Hello, Arena. And Kerry asked, I've been reading S. Connolly's 72 Goetia. Love it. I actually haven't read that one yet. I need to read it. Although it's probably, I think that actually came out of the Patreon classes that she was doing, which I was kind of subscribed to for a while. It's probably the same thing. But I do want to get it just to give it a look and a review. Gills. Is there a theory that if you've had contact with your HGA, contact with the spirits and demons, etc., is more clear, visible, and or audible? I suppose having a successful contact is also more likely. Yes, I would say that's true. Once you've got knowledge and conversation of your holy guardian angel or your personal daimon, you do get more of a kind of a stronger bond, a stronger connection, a bit like tuning in the radio, you get a stronger channel, not channel, what's the word? Radio wave? Something like that. Stronger connection to something. And it does make things easier. And, people also say that magic you perform is a lot easier because you're becoming more of a whole being. Your soul parts are starting to unite. Once you've made knowledge and conversation, or once you've contacted your personal daimon, there's a whole process you have to go through, which can take several years. I think probably you go through it for the rest of your life, really. I still am. But it's really about uniting the different parts of your own soul, and when you become a whole being, you kind of have a stronger connection to everything else. So yeah, it does make things a lot easier, a lot stronger. As above, so below, the breath of life. I don't know what that was in reference to. What was that in reference to? And Kerry, hi Kerry. We've got two Kerrys, Kerry Cantaloupe and Kerry. Just Kerry. The one R. Welcome, thanks for joining. Yolandi said Rastafarianism is Bible based. They believe in one God, Jah. They believe in living a balanced lifestyle. Yeah, it's more about the lifestyle and the spirituality and the connection than really trying to alter things, change things through our will, as it were. Right, so how have we gone quiet? There we go. Alright, Dragon. Is there a specific universal way to connect with the inner daimon, or can we just make it up? And which is more potent? Alright, so we have to remember, we actually did a show on Into the Wildwood, I can't remember how many weeks ago, wasn't that long ago, about a specific topic actually, because we actually kind of reviewed The Holy Guardian Angel, which is a collection of authors, but what we have to remember here is when we do this work, there are different parts that we connect to, different beings or entities. I can't even really call it that actually, but I'm going to call it entities for the time being, that have been assigned to us at birth. So when we go through like something like the Sacred Magic of Abramelin, we find, I forget the terminology that was used specifically in there, but it's kind of like the demon, and then we've got the Holy Guardian Angel. Alright, so if we relate this to other systems, we could say that this is the Nefesh, the lower self and the higher self, and then we also have the middle self. So what we're doing is bringing those, becoming aware of them, and then bringing them all into union type of thing. So we have this lower self and higher self. I speak of the fetch beast and the fetch mate as being the lower and higher, and they have all specific purposes individually, but also as a whole, when you bring them all together, type of thing. In the sacred magic of Bremlin, you also go through a process after you've got knowledge and conversation. You brought all these parts together, of actually getting your familiars, and some speak of getting 1 familiar, some speak of getting 4. I went through the process of getting 4 myself, and then you go through the whole process of commanding the demons. Okay, so, but you've got all these parts. What is making a noise? So, but anyway, you've got all these parts. So you've got the lower self, the higher self, and then you've got the familiars. If we want to add those in, I believe they all make part of these entities that were connected to us at birth. All right. So what we're doing is we are bringing all of those into union. Now, you can go about this any which way you want to. You can do the Abramelin, you can do Liber Samick by Crowley. You can go through the process of a traditional witchcraft, uniting yourself with a lot of people talk about the Fey companion, similar process, same thing. It's all about creating a sacred marriage. You go through a sacred marriage and unite all these soul parts and become a whole being. So there's a whole load of ways you can go through it. If you actually read the Holy Guardian Angel, just have a look for it. It's got Jason Miller in there, Stephen Skinner. I think it was edited by, I can't remember now. Might have been Chick Cicero. Can't remember. If somebody can check. But a great book because it's written by, as I said, it's got a variety of different authors in there, and so you get different perspectives, different points of views, different ways of actually doing this. One person actually relates the whole thing to the process of voodoo, and getting your metet, and things like that. But it's also split into the different stages. So the preparation, and then doing the work, and then what you do after the work, because there's a whole load of stuff you've got to do after the work. It's not just do a Bremelin and that's it. You've got knowledge and conversation with your Holy Guardian Angel, and that's it. No, there's so much more to do afterwards. It's unbelievable. So yeah, I hope that you can. One of the methods to actually do this work and go through this whole process is just to inflame yourself in prayer every day to your Holy Guardian Angel. Just sit once a day for however long it is, but do it every day and keep that kind of promise, create that bond, create that oath, and keep going back and inflaming yourself with prayer to your Holy Guardian Angel, to meet your Holy Guardian Angel, and eventually it comes through. For some people it may take 7 days, for other people it might take 7 years, we don't know. Depends from person to person, it differs, but yeah, anyway, hope that answers your question. As above, so below. I meant the breath of life from when you were talking about whispering to the spirits. Sorry, okay, now I get that now. Yeah, it's actually something I spoke about. I think it was on my Patreon. I can't remember. I spoke about it somewhere. To bring yourself. I was talking to somebody else about it because it was a method I was suggesting for scrying, actually. I think it was Kerry that mentioned scrying. Anyway, to get yourself into a really good trance state, to be able to do scrying or evocation work or whatever it is, communicate in some way or fashion, but to get visions, to get images, to get yourself into a really good hypnagogic state where you are between waking and sleeping. If you take an N or a chant or a mantra or something, or an affirmation, whatever it is, say it verbally. If you're going to do a mantra, you might have a mala bead, for instance, and do it 108 times, but do it verbally out loud, and then do it 108 times as a whisper, and then do it 108 times silently, just in your head. And you'll find that you probably won't make it through the third part, but you go so deep into a trance, and you kind of hit that between state and hypnagogic state, and it's good because you're in a hypnagogic state, and you keep bringing yourself back to, you've got to do the mantra internally. So it kind of holds you in that between state without slipping too far into sleep and too far back into wakefulness. So really good method. It's one I really enjoy. Whispering's a powerful thing. Can be a very powerful thing. Roche, is it Roche or Roche? Roche? Rock? I'm going to say Roche. I like Roche. Just came across your channel, love the content and sending much love from Cape Town. Oh, thank you. I know there's at least one other Cape Townian here. Kerry, you once suggested that I create a servitor for a project, but I've already got too many mouths to feed. Knowing I've got entities stuck to me at birth with more responsibilities is scary. It's not really that bad. They're there. I mean, there's no way you can get rid of them. It's like, well, I don't know if everybody here has got two hands, but I've got two hands. I've got a hand, it was with me at birth. It's staying there for now, at least. These are just, it's not really, they're actually part of your soul. So, it's just that as we kind of become fragmented, and then as we go through these processes of uniting ourselves with the different parts of our soul, we bring ourselves back into union. And this is what this is all about. It's about bringing ourselves into union or yoga, and it's actually the whole purpose of religion, really, is bringing ourselves back into union with things. Binding ourselves to whatever it is. So yeah. Andrea's here. Hello, Andrea. I'm late again. That's okay. We're only 20 minutes in, so that's all right. Kerry, uniting through shadow work. Shadow work, I think, is more of a process of removing the obstacles, if we can put it that way, because we kind of move through life and we have these aspects of ourselves that we kind of want to keep quiet and silent and don't want to show anybody else. And that, I'm going to just mention that, with shadow work, it's not about just about the negative stuff, it's about the positive stuff as well. Franz Barden talks about the black and the white soul, or the black and white mirror, and going through the exercise. And you start with the black, which is all the negative stuff that you can think about yourself, and you go through that process, categorize, etc. Then you go through all the good stuff, all the positive stuff about yourself, and you find that during that process, your ego just inflates to such a degree that you become a horrible, horrible person. So it's about, shadow work's about looking at all of these things that you don't want people to see, whether it's negative or positive. And I mean, if we look at the emotions, an emotion it's not really negative or positive. Anger is usually seen as a negative emotion, but if somebody is threatening you and you need to get angry in order to defend yourself and save your own life or somebody else's life, that's a positive emotion. So, you can't really view these things as negative or positive, really, when we look at them. And you might find that if you do this exercise of the black and the white mirror, or the black and the white soul, from Barton, you'll probably find that you'll have some things which are on both lists. So, gotta look at the whole thing. But it's kind of like going through the process of looking at these things, acknowledging them, knowing they're there, accepting them, and then finding the balance, getting a balance, and then carry on going through. And that, shadow work never, ever, ever ends. There's always going to be things, whether it's old things or new things, that keep coming up, and we've got to just keep clearing them away, keep accepting them, bringing them back into the balance, into the fray and everything else, instead of ignoring them. If we ignore these things too much, then they become these little beasts that you don't want around. So yeah, whole process, but yeah, kind of different to the HGA stuff. Gills, any opinion on E.A. Coetting and Michael W. Ford? Yes, lots, but I might get sued, so I think I'll stay quiet on that front. I don't have very good opinions on either of them. Just leave it at that. But yeah. As above, so below. How does the spirit of the journal itself work for the living book? Having trouble viewing the book as a spirit for some reason. Alright, so this is actually only on Patreon and for my personal students in the temple. So other people might not know what this is about. What I started doing on Patreon and for temple members is I started writing a thing. It's very much sort of based on, very similar to the Book of Agoras by Connolly, where you create a book and you summon the spirit of Agoras into the book, and every time you open it, you kind of look into the mirror, get reflection of yourself and whatnot, and then write your wishes into the book, which then manifest. Similar type of thing. I actually got the idea when I was reading the grimoire of Pope Pius V, which was a conjuration of Astaroth, because in there, the instructions in there, it's a very Catholic based, but the instructions in there are to do 4 masses, and then name the grimoire, the book, give it a name, so that you can talk to it as a living being. So I kind of had this idea of getting a journal, calling the spirit of the book itself from an animistic perspective out, and then working with the spirit of the actual journal of the book, and you're writing your wishes in. So I'm busy doing that myself and writing this. It might end up being a pamphlet, I don't know. Anyway, so how does the spirit of the journal itself work for the living book? I'm having trouble viewing the book as a spirit for some reason. Okay, I think what you might find is when we get to, because I haven't written this part yet, but when we get to the bits about actually calling the spirit out, getting its name, getting some kind of symbol for it, some kind of calling, you'll probably start to interact with it. At this stage, all we've done at the up to now anyway is cleanse and consecrate the book itself. So it's a nice clean space for the spirit that's there. But yeah, we'll get there. So don't worry about that. And yeah, I'm still having trouble after the following week, because I'll be doing that then. Then we can chat about it again. Kerry, I found that harnessing the shadow, embracing the unconscious is an awesome creative boost. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know, yeah, I guess it is part of shadow work, but it was a long time ago, years and years ago. Before, yeah, I mean, I was 21 at the time, so it was before I actually got down and started doing witchcraft. I remember I'd just left my ex-girlfriend, and I was very, very angry. I was very upset, and I was driving home, and I stopped behind a car, and for some reason I just went into this like vision trance state, and imagined myself getting out of the car and pulling this guy out of his car and ripping his throat out. It was very violent, but the interesting thing was it kind of called up a part of myself which is very manipulative, and the darker, we can call it the darker side of me, yeah, it's just a part of me that needed to actually come out. And I realized then you can't keep it caged up, because if you keep it caged up, it's just going to be just going to get worse. Um, right, where did I get to? Andrea, shadow work has helped me to understand myself and keep the demons in reserve in case I ever need them, and Lee has just said that. Okay. Sappho is here, hello Sappho, and Kerry said shadow work has helped me too, stuff, and Ford Misterson, I think. Let's see. Andrea doing about demons are not dark entities, dude. They are deities and work as the intermediate between humans and the higher gods. Yes. At least not the ones in my country. Not sure about the other cultures, but just so you know that if it's supposed to be a demon that requires sacrifices of animals, humans, they are not. Yes. They are not good demons. Good demons never require you sacrifices, especially, you've already said there are not bad demons, so I'm not sure why you're saying there are good demons. There are some dark demon entities like in Babylon or India. Yeah, we usually call them astral parasites around here. These are spirits, they're entities, they're the gods, the goddesses, the jinn, whatever. They're not good or bad or evil or dark or whatever. They just are. They are just like forces of nature. It's good and it's bad, it's destructive and constructive, so yeah. Really, demons are astral parasites, never knew. Okay, we're going to have to get into definitions here, and obviously this is going to be semantics depending on who you're talking to. When we're talking about demons in the regards of demonology and what we're talking about here, we're talking about the daemon or the daimon, which is your higher, your divine intelligences, your higher vibrational entities, and those are, they can include the jinn. There are some jinn which are, the ifrit and things like that, which are a bit, don't really like humans very much. But your gods and goddesses, we can even include angels and stuff. But the thing is, within demonology, what we're really talking about is more chthonic spirits, underworldly. Now, when we are talking about astral parasites, there are lower vibrational entities. So I wouldn't really call them demonic at all. In one interpretation, we could actually call them, because in one interpretation they are considered a daemon is considered to be just a living spirit. So everything is demonic, really. Depends on which interpretation you're looking at. The original interpretation before Theos even came about enveloped everything. It was, all of the entities, all of the gods and the goddesses, and the all in the know thing. It was everything, encompassed everything. And then psychology came along, Socrates came along, and interpretations changed again and again and again. So, but yeah, when we're talking about, I wouldn't really label a daemon to be good or bad, because they're just daemonic. They're not either. So therefore we can talk about astral parasites as being, some people call them devils, which again is different to the devil within the craft. Some people call them demons, some people call them devils. Some people interpret demons from the Christian perspective of they are these evil spirits. So it gets a bit tricky trying to determine what somebody's actually talking about in regards to how they interpret the words. So it's always better to have these conversations, and now you know what my interpretations are anyway. Andrew's here. Hi Andrew. Everything is a double-edged sword. It's all about context. Oh yeah, absolutely. As above, so below. Parasites be poo-poo, literally. Yeah. Well, if you're going to cleanse, one of the ways of cleansing negative emotions and stuff is literally by having a shit in the toilet. Sappho, demons aren't astral parasites, which leads up to my next question. Have you ever run into a destructive spirit that wasn't an astral parasite? Yeah. I'm going to say yes, although I can't think of one in particular, but again, coming back to the interpretation of what we're talking about, if we consider angelic forces, or if we consider them to be forces of nature, as an example, then an angel can destroy a city with a tsunami or an earthquake or something like that. There are entities which are particularly destructive, but at the same time they're also creative. And this is what I keep talking about. When I was going through the Demon of the Week with the Goetia, I would often say, this spirit does this, but also does the opposite. Like Marbas was my favourite example. Marbas can create disease, but at the same time can heal disease. So, it's the creation and the destruction. It's both at the same time. We do, however, we can look at, this came up recently in the comments, Amdusias, as part of the 9 demonic divinities that Connolly speaks of. Amdusias is considered to be the destructive force. You've got the five, if you include Satan as the all, but you've got the elemental kings, and then you've got the other four, which are trying to think, construction and destruction, and then life and death. So you've got the opposing forces, which are coming into the construct of the circle. So Amdusias would be considered to be a destructive entity. But, you can't really say that Amdusias is just going to be destroying things, because they are spirits, balanced. Kerry, I struggle with thinking of them as a hierarchy of hell. That's the Christian worldview. Yeah, I don't either. Hell is part of the Christian stuff, and I don't believe there is anything like the fire and brimstone stuff that they talk about. So it doesn't form part of my worldview either. Dragon, and what about Christian demons like in the Goetia? Well, this is the thing. Are they Christian demons? They are entities, and a lot of them are, we've kind of drawn the lines back to like Baal, Astaroth. I'm trying to think of them off the top of my head now. I'm not getting mixed up with others. Anyway, we've got various entities that we've kind of drawn lines back to them being ancient gods and goddesses from like thousands of years ago. We can even look at Belphegor, who was the lord of the Mount Fegor, Baal Fegor. We've got so many of them, but they were gods and goddesses. And what happened was Christians came along and decided that these entities were not their gods, and specifically with the Goetia, they are labelled as being jinn. And therefore they became demonic, or demonic from the perspective of the Christians being evil entities, because they weren't the Christian God. And then the Christian mages and the Christian magicians came along and created all these grimoires where you inflame yourself with prayer and call on the names of God and the angelic forces, and you get this army around you, surround yourself, and you enforce yourself with all of this stuff and the name of Jesus and blah blah blah, etc., etc., and then you trap the spirit, this god or goddess that's thousands of years old, is incredibly powerful. You trap it, and then you start threatening it. That makes no sense at all to me, and this is why when you get the reports of people doing this evocation work, specifically as per the grimoires, the old grimoires, and they the spirit gets loose and they get thrown around the room and get attacked, literally physically attacked. Yeah, because you're treating the spirit like shit, you're going to get treated like spirit shit also. So that's why I appreciate Connolly's work, and the modern demonology that's come up in the past 15 or something years, and made it more accessible for other people, from that idea of being respectful. So I wouldn't call them Christian demons. I would call them gods and goddesses that have been demonized by the Christian mages. Sappho, every spirit I've run into always seemed to want me to be better, to improve and be the best version of myself. Absolutely. That's kind of the entities that I work with, and I think this is where we have to kind of remember that we're talking about this balance of the entities themselves. In order to improve ourselves, that's not always pretty and rosy. Sometimes in order to improve ourselves, we have to strip away a lot of crap in order to move forward properly. And that's a very, very painful process. Completely destroying your worldview in order to build up a new worldview, that's an incredibly difficult and painful process. So, it's not always nice, but it is usually necessary. And again, that comes back to, sometimes you're going to get the entities that are going to be destructive, because you need to destroy something in order to recreate it and build it up again, like a forest fire. Andrea at Fort Myson, what I meant was I got to know the dark parts of myself, and I know the evil I'm capable of, but I don't use them unless I have to. Sorry for the confusion. No, it's okay. I don't think there was much confusion. Don't worry. Kerry, Kali is a destructive force and a creative force. Don't forget that. Kali just takes your karma and destroys your karma. So Kali's an amazing goddess. As above, so below. A whole army by force or love and respect. I'll take the love and respect. Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Yolandi, I feel any spirit can become destructive if you don't respect them. Oh yeah, no, I think anybody can be. If you put me in a cage and start whipping me, or well, I guess it depends who's whipping me and for what purpose. But if you start threatening me and burning me with pokers and hot pokers and things like that, when I get loose, I'm going to beat the crap out of you. So I think anybody's the same. Kerry, Belphegor got a bad rap. Oh yes, absolutely. I worked with Belphegor, and I think they're fantastic spirit. Very powerful, very potent, but the whole idea of sitting on a crapper. That was just something the Christians decided that this entity should look like. Andrea, destruction and reconstruction. Kali destroys, but the balance is kept. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. As I said, that goes with most of the spirits. Alright. So now we've gone quiet. I wonder if... I don't think I missed anybody, do I? Right. Anybody got any other questions? We've got... Ford Misterson. Sappho, it is true, spirit seems to want us to become better persons. It's interesting. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, why not? I think this is the kind of like, if you go to a spirit, an entity, whatever it is, whatever spirit it may be, and you say to them, I think you're an idiot. I will not recognize you as being worthy of anything. This is kind of what some people do, then that spirit's not going to want to talk to you. It's not going to want to help you in any way, fashion, or form. If you go to the entity and you say, I think you are worthy of the honour that you've been given. I want to work with you, I want to honour you, I want to respect you. That's a whole different thing. That's a spirit that's going to want to come back and work with you and help you, and therefore they're going to want to help improve you as a person. So it's really about what you put in, you get out. And I think, yes, there are ceremonial magicians and Solomonic workers that do the whole trapping and binding and everything else, and they get results, they do. Some of them still have respect for the spirit, even though they're going through the same process as the Solomonic grimoires. They do still have respect for the spirit. I've read Lon Milo Duquette's accounts of the workings he's done with Boone and other spirits, and he does go through that process, but still has respect for the spirit. So there's a bit of something to be said there, but others don't. They take it literally, the Solomonic grimoire literally, the way it's written, and that's completely different. So yeah, it's about, give respect, you get respect. Andrea said respect is very important. These demons are old and know every loophole like lawyers. Don't tell them that. They've been around for a long time, so yeah, they should do. Andrew, what's your opinion on asking demons to see the future? It worked for me once. Yeah, I think what actually happens here, this is very similar to doing scrying. When you're doing scrying work, you you're given visions, and those visions I find are sit in that, again, coming back to the hypnagogic state. That's when you start seeing visions. When you start, I've gone to the point where I hear voices. It's usually kind of picking up some kind of weird radio station, spirit radio station or something. There's passing terms that come flying by. But yeah, it's the visions you get. So when you are working with a spirit, whether it's from a demon from the Goetia, or whether it's Hecate or whoever, you are going to start seeing visions in the mirror or in the crystal ball or in the bowl of water or whatever medium you're actually using, whatever tool you're using, and that's the visions from your own hypnagogic state. And it's a two-way communication. Why? Meeting has ended after 40 minutes idle time. Huh. Right. Okay, I know I'm still here and everybody can still hear me because I've got my mic separate. Hang on. My camera Zoom just ended the meeting because it was idle apparently. Let me just start it up again. I'm going to actually just do it this way. Nobody was on, so we're all good. Please give me a minute. Oh, I think I'm on again. Am I on? I think I am. Let's go over here. Okay. Alright, good stuff. So I just want to put myself in front of the YouTube thing because it gets distracting. Okay. Where was I? As above, so below. In your opinion, which Baal is Baal, or do you also see them as egregores of the same Baal? Yeah, this does get a bit tricky because Baal just means Lord, and there are many of them, and Baal from the Goetia is the same spirit, but I actually agree with Conley here, because she actually says that this Baal from the Goetia is actually the fiery aspect of Baal. And that's how I feel anyway. So yeah, I agree with her in that respect. And yeah, as I said, very tricky. You got Baal Figor, you've got Baal Berith, you've got Baal Zebub, and those are only three of many, many, many lords that were around at the time. So yeah. Kerry Lee, how significant are offerings? I find them very significant myself. I think it's just a way of giving respect and honour to the whichever spirit you're working with. It's also a transfer of energy. A food. It's a way of feeding the spirit itself. So yeah, I find it very, very good, very well significant at least. Andrea, so if you disrespect them, you can guarantee a kick up the ass. I'd say so, yes. If you disrespect anybody, you should expect to kick up the ass. Unless they really deserve it. There are some people that really do deserve disrespect, especially nowadays. Uriel, Harley, what spirits are good for beginners to start with? I always come back to Lucifer. I find Lucifer to be probably the best spirit to actually work with. I personally, this is a personal UPG thing of mine, I think that everybody has a Lucifer, a light bringer. And it's probably part of this whole HGA thing and whatnot. But I've worked with Lucifer from different formats, from different types of workings. Like my own personal Lucifer that I interact with mostly over the years, from a traditional witchcraft perspective, is the entity that comes from the east, where the rising sun is, and brings the gnosis, is horned and has a flame betwixt the horns. The flame betwixt the horns is the gnosis, is the knowledge, and also illuminates your path. So this is a very good entity to work with. As a beginner, because you want knowledge, you want to understand things, and you want your path to be lit. You're stepping along this path, you want to see where you're treading, and until you get that knowledge and gnosis and start to understand things, it's very difficult to see in the dark. So I'd always go back to Lucifer. Go and grab the light bringer in whatever form that is. As I said, from my own traditional witchcraft background, it always has been the horned one with the flame betwixt the horns. But over the years, that's actually progressed from being a masculine to a feminine. I now interact with this entity as being a feminine entity, and Lucifer, in traditional lore, as far as I've seen anyway, is known as being a shapeshifter. So shape-shifting from between genders and becoming non-gender, becoming androgynous, even becoming hermaphroditic, whatever it is, that shape-shifting can definitely happen. So it depends on your own personal interactions. That spirit's probably going to look different and change. But at the same time, I think I mentioned this previously in the review I did of Lucifer and the Hidden Demons by Theodore Rose. When I do the workings in there, that Lucifer is very different. It's a masculine entity that's kind of like just a shadowy figure. So, very different type of working. But yeah, I go with Lucifer because bringer of knowledge, bringer of gnosis, you can work with Lucifer to understand things, to get knowledge, and also illuminate your path, which is very necessary. Gills, any thoughts on Freemasonry? Is it a cult or just a boys' club used as an excuse to escape their wives? But it's both, actually. It used to be an occult club. It is becoming a gay now. For a period of time, it just became a kind of a fraternity where people got together, the guys got together and kind of spoke about their businesses and how to improve their their situations and all of that stuff, and like get, you know, have a good piss up and whatnot. I don't know. I'm not saying that's what happens in Freemasonry, but it's the kind of the impression you get. But yes, was a cult. That kind of slipped away. It is becoming more occult again. If you read John Michael Greer, and go for Manly P. Hall as well for an older source, but John Michael Greer is excellent. You'll find some brilliant information in those by those two authors in regards to that. And I can't remember who it was. I think it was John Michael Greer who was talking in one of his books about the aspect of bringing the occult, bringing the spiritual aspects of Freemasonry back in. If I come across it and it was somebody else, I'll try and let you know one way or the other. Let's see. Oops, wait. Oh, Yolanda, your video is gone. Yeah, sorry about that. We're back. Gremlins. Oh, it was Zoom being a pain in the arse. Andrew, am I the only one who combines runes with demons? Probably not, but not something I would do myself. Runes are very... Talking about the Nordic runes, the Futhark, and very Nordic related, so they become very what's the word? Not localized. But yeah, I suppose that is the word. They're very Nordic for me, whereas the daemons that we work with are very kind of Middle Eastern. So very, very separate, very different aspects. I wouldn't personally, I wouldn't consider combining those. Kerry, fiery aspects of Baal. This sounds like Pokemon. Yeah, I've got a few balls around. Andrea, Nana says hello. Hello, Nana. And said that you need to clean your kitchen. It's not my fault. Okay, we have had water problems for the past 2 months, and today it hasn't been on since about 7 this morning, so I haven't had water to actually clean the kitchen properly. So I actually had a good thought today. I'm going to fill the bath each morning, and I can use the water from there to do all the stuff I need to do. Pain in the arse, so I don't know what's going on. Andrew, Lucifer is my most loyal demon. Lucifer's amazing. And as I said, I honestly believe everybody has their own Lightbringer. It's just part of who they are, kind of thing. Because I think every time you talk to somebody about Lucifer, it's a completely different description and way they actually work with it. And because I've actually had interactions with Lucifers that have been completely different, I kind of get the impression. Obviously, Lucifer is a title; it means Lightbringer. So there isn't one entity that is called Lucifer. Although, if you do go into like Roman mythology, the Italian Stragaria and things like that, that's a different story, because Lucifer is either the light of the planet Venus and the morning star, or is the son and lover of Diane. So from Charles Leland's Aradia. But yeah, and very interesting. Loads and loads of different mythologies about Lucifer. Kerry, the flame between the horns sounds like Baphomet. Yeah, that representation did form part of Baphomet, and in fact, Baphomet kind of melds into not just Lucifer but also Pan for me. Kind of like the especially Pan, the aspect of being the all, which is actually a more recent modern interpretation of the word itself. But that all encompassing the pangenitor, the aspect of being all, so masculine and feminine together, so being androgynous or hermaphroditic, whichever term we need to use there, and being all of the different types of animals, your serpent, your reptilian, the bird, or avian, the goat, all these different aspects that actually come into forming it. So yeah, very similar, but also separate, but difficult to explain, I suppose. Kerry Cantaloupe. I've definitely heard others who work with Lucifer state that he is somewhat androgynous. Yeah, shapeshifter. So, and I think changes depending on the person. Sappho, the Lucifer I know talks a lot about family, hates bigots and liars. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's not very enlightening. Well, bigots and liars aren't very enlightening. So, that kind of wraps up the whole Lightbringer thing, I suppose. Arena, aren't spirits genderless anyway? Yes, they are. Yes. So it's actually something, I can't remember who it was, but they weren't arguing about it, but they did consider spirits to have gender. But my own personal interpretation is that we give them gender. And that's why, a spirit like Lucifer can transform from masculine to feminine, because the interaction that I'm having with that spirit at that particular time, that's what I actually give them. They don't even have form. They don't, we see them, we interact with them as being these humanoid figures, but they don't have form. They're just balls of energy. It's one thing I learned when I was learning practical Kabbalah, got drilled into me a bit, was that, specifically in that and in reference to the archangels, they are just these balls of energy. They are formless. They don't have wings and things like this. Definitely not the pretty entities that a lot of people consider them to be, or even the things with the hundreds and hundreds of eyes. They're just balls of energy. That's what they are. We give them form in order to more easily interact with them, because that's how we do things. Ford Misterson, Kerry Baphomet is not a deity, he is a symbol. We can therefore say that Lucifer is also a symbol because it's a title. We can also say that Frey and Freya from the Nordic pantheon are also symbols because they literally mean its titles. They mean Lord and Lady. Satan is a title, it means adversary. Baal is a title, it means Lord. So these names become symbols as well. But at the same time, I know what you're saying, and in reference to Baphomet specifically, if it wasn't a deity, it now is, because it has been given form, just like so many have been, hundreds and thousands of people working with an entity give it form, they create an egregore, and this becomes a deity. The Christian God is the biggest and most potent egregore around, and has been for a very, very long time. And I believe there are many, many Christian gods, egregores, but that's a whole different topic. But yeah. Dragon, how do we use runes in spellcraft and manifestation? I don't use runes, and the reason I don't use runes is because they are incredibly potent. They're very, very powerful, and if you get things wrong, it's like mixing two very potent chemicals together and it completely and utterly blowing up your laboratory. So you have to be very careful when you work with runes, I think anyway. We did do, again, go back into the Wildwood, have a look on there, and just do a search for runes on the channel. We did talk about runes. Maybe we should do some more of those shows, actually. A lot of very good information came out about the use of runes. Sappho, don't let Lilith hear that. That's one of the few I actually had to be careful with. What was that? I'm not sure what that was in reference to. Andrea's been blocked? What? What do you mean you've been blocked? Blocked from what? You haven't been blocked. You're not blocked here anyway. Oh, I've still got a whole cup of hot chocolate. I've been talking so much. Alright, let's just see. Oh, got quite a lot, 18 people today. That's quite cool, thank you. I just want to try and put this chat window back in place. I know there was something somewhere that told me to, wait, I know where it is. Restore chat, there we go. Okay. Andrew, I use Lagos rune and Swillow rune often for dream work. Okay. I can't really help you there, sorry. As I said, I don't use runes. I did study them every now and again, but yeah, it's kind of like one of those things you have to become dedicated to. It didn't really form part of my path, actually. So, I didn't go down that route. Sappho, a previous comment about spirits being genderless. Oh, okay. Yeah. Actually, interestingly enough, I mean, if you go, speaking about Lilith, in that regard, if you start exploring some more of the history, and it is speculation, I don't think anybody will be able to actually say for definite that this is where it came from. But if you go back into the Mesopotamian, there was the Lilu and the Lili. And these were wind demons, and the one was masculine, wind demons, and the one was feminine wind demons. I personally believe that that's where the whole aspect of Lilith kind of evolved and developed from, because there was Lili, or the Lilu, can't remember which was masculine or feminine, and then it kind of developed into Lilitu, who was also associated with Pazuzu, because Pazuzu was the king of the wind demons, really. And then it kind of evolved into what I believe, as it progressed into the Hebrew faith and things like that, it became Lilith. So yeah. But yeah, just talk specifically about that. If you go back into the history, it's Lili and Lilu. These were masculine or feminine, so at the same time. We can actually have a look at that from that perspective. Kerry said, I gave up on runes because of the concern of the web of weird. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff there. I think when you get into runes, it really needs to be a submersion into Nordic practices and all of that stuff. It's very, very, very defined. Andrea wrote something and it disappeared. Oh. What did you write? Write it again. Last thing we got was Nana says hello, which I read. And I've been blocked. That's weird. Weird. Yes, W-Y-R-D is the weird from the Teutonic. Sappho said yes. Okay, cool. Andrea, Lee's book, Reality of Things, is an awesome book for answering many of these questions. Oh, okay, thank you. Actually, I wrote that a long time ago, before even half of the stuff we're talking about today, so yeah. It was a good book, I think. I hope everybody's enjoying the music and you can actually hear it. I can hear it, obviously. I'm going to try to keep it a little bit quiet, because otherwise I'm going to start shouting. Alright, it has gone quiet. I think we're going to bring this to an end today. Oh, Gills, what's a quick ritual I can do if I want a career boost? For career specifically, it doesn't always. Are you trying to involve a raise in salary as well, or is it just a boost in your actual career to get you further along? I would actually go to Boone. Boone's one of my favourites, so I'd actually go to Boone for that. And you can do what I do, is create a spirit box. It's always been one of my favourite methods. And really all you do is you get a box, you can decorate it with Boone's, or whichever spirit you work with, but Boone's sigil, make it look nice, make it look pretty, and then put offerings in. And what I do is once a week on a Friday, I'll light the candle that's on top of it and change the offering. I offer Southern Comfort. You like Southern Comfort? And then once a month I open a new, well, this time actually I'm going to do it tomorrow, during the new moon phase. You then open up the box and you put offerings in, and you take out the old, you've got a petition paper in. So you take out the old petition paper, you burn that, and you make a new petition paper. And the petition paper is really what you are wanting for the coming month. And then you just repeat and renew each month. Yeah, I would actually work with Boone. Oribus can be a good one for that as well, I think. But yeah, I work for Boone. Whenever it's got anything to do with money, finances, business, work, career, job, I usually go to Boone myself. As above, so below. Been a great show today. Lots of good topics and fun stuff. Thank you, Lee. That's a pleasure. Kerry, I think I read this book. Awesome read. Oh, good stuff. Glad you did. Andrea, I definitely recommend Lee's book for everyone. Thank you, Andrea. Gills, yes, raise and better job. Yeah, go with Boone. I've been doing some experiments specifically since January actually, and specifically with Boone and a box, and they've been working pretty damn well. And the experiments have been, I want my salary or my monthly income to be this amount. And for 3 months, it was specifically that amount. It wasn't above, it wasn't below. It was just that exact amount. So now I've changed it to become more, but a minimum of this amount. And it's starting to, it's actually gotten to that point where it is. I am seeing a bit of a bump in the road coming. So I just need to divine what that is and try and figure out what's going on. But it's definitely working. It's a specific experiment I've been doing. So have a look at that. Kerry, should I petition Belphegor to win the lottery? No. Gordon White actually explained this really, really well. When you do magic for something, you improve your odds. Now, when it comes to something like the lottery, without magic, let's say you have, just for argument's sake, it's your odds are 1 in 2 million that you're going to win the lottery. If you do magic, you improve your odds, but you might improve it to like 1 in 500,000. That it's a hell of a big improvement, but you're still not going to win the lottery. So it can, you can actually do magic for the lottery and maybe not win it, but you kind of get a bit further along than you would have before. So you can always try it. Why not? If you play the lottery anyway, why not add another method to try and help you along? Just do it, see what happens. And if you do win the lottery, let me know, because I'll be very interested. Arena, the boon box. I still love that term. I do as well. I was making it and I thought, boon box. It just sounds so good. Yeah. If anybody is interested in following what's going on with my boon box and the living book and all of the things, my own experiments into magic and whatnot, there is the Patreon. What is it? Patreon page, whatever it's called. The Patreon, my Patreon. It's $5 a month. If you want to go and have a look at that. I try and add things regularly, and I'm actually thinking I might reformat a lot of things, all the memberships and things like that, and tie it in with Temple of the Horned Serpent and the memberships there, and possibly put it on Patreon. Anyway, it's the messages I was getting today while I was taking a walk, so I'm going to have to look at that. It's going to be a whole restructuring, but I think it will be a bit more fine-tuned. Andrea, Boone is great for helping with business and work. Yeah, absolutely. I love Boone. She is just fantastic. Gills, thanks. It's a pleasure. Andrea and Lee has just said that as well. Yes. I know. Reading your mind again. Richard, this has been one of the best Covenstead so far. It has been fun. It's been a hell of a great conversation. Hell of a great fun. And nobody joined me in the chat or on the video. So yeah, that's why Zoom kind of kicked me out. Andrea, Nana is trying to help you with your business, Lee. She's very interested in your work. Okay, thank you. I'll give her a thanks a bit later. I haven't got any gin. I hope she likes Southern Comfort. She can have some of that. Andrew, what about seeing the future numbers? You can try. As I said, if you do play the lottery, then why not add as many different methods as you can? Experiment. That's what magic is all about. Doing experimentation and keeping your records. Kerry said, thank you for the lottery comment. Yeah, it's a pleasure. Yeah, I think that's kind of like one of the things that people always, the argument people make is, oh, you do magic, you can influence things, and why don't you become rich and win the lottery? Well, that's not quite how it works, but anyway. Juliana Caesar, hi, thanks for joining. Could you not petition Lucifuge Rofakal to grant you the winning of the lottery as part of a pact that you make with him? You can try it. There's a lot of just spirits you could work with in this particular thing. It was so long ago, my memory's going to kill me now. I remember there being a particular spirit and sigil. It was more like a Kamiya that was actually used for the lottery. It never worked for me. Did work for other people, made things a lot better. And I can't remember, it's too long ago. But there are things out there. So if you go digging, if you want to actually experiment with this stuff, then go digging. There's a lot of stuff you can find. There's a lot of shit you can find, like everything else. But there's lots of interesting things you can actually find. And there are lots of spirits you could work with. Spirits for games of chance. Spirits or methods to bring luck. All of these things can be used in this regard, specifically for the lottery. So try it. Why not? That's what we're doing. Just experimenting, trying to find what works and what doesn't work. Yeah. Alright, I'm going to bring today to an end. Thank you everybody for joining and for the great conversation. It was brilliant, loved it. And just turn the music off so I can say bye-bye properly. And I'll see everybody somewhere in the chats or in the comments or wherever. Yeah. Have a good one. Cheers for now. Bye bye.